Welcome, everyone. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles here again with another album review, and this time it is Janet Jackson's album, the Velvet Rope from 1997, suggested by Craig. So we'll see how this one pans out with all of us. There it is, right there. Is Craig the only one that has it? I thought I had it on a CD, but I guess I don't.
No, I don't have it.
Yeah, so the Velvet Rope from Janet Jackson. We'll be talking about that, so get ready for that. Here it comes. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fithen, along with Mike from Hubtunes, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and ladies and gentlemen, the man that heard the song Rope Burn and thought, finally, a song someone can relate to, Richard from Calvin Wazoo.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I mean, it's the song Rope Burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the album that we're reviewing.
That one.
Okay, so yeah, Janet Jackson, 1997. This is one of the ones from her era that she was for a few albums there, where she was just putting out excellent releases. But this is the one that I was not as familiar with as I am her other ones. I definitely know Control, Rhythm Nation, and Janet more than I know this one. This one came out in 97, so I'm kind of abandoned pop music at that point. I'm submersed in rock radio. My whole life is rock radio and working in radio. So I don't have time to really listen to music just to be listening to it. I have to listen to it for business, so I'm not really listening to really any pop music. And this one kind of got by me. But now that I finally heard the entire thing, yeah, I'm here to talk about it. It starts off with the title track, The Velvet Rope. And it's and then goes into a song called You, which right away, the first two songs, thank you, Janet Jackson. This is what I've been talking about. It's a female pop artist. First two songs are not about male-female relationships and you broke up with me, or I'm going to break up with you, or we're so in love and it's wonderful. It's actually about different things. The Velvet Rope is about how everybody wants to be special and everybody wants to be noticed, and but you keep behind the velvet rope and all of that. You keep some things to yourself. You is all about how you you got to take a chance and you got to do your thing, and you can't be trying to please everybody, and you got to do you. And if you fail, you succeed. You only have you to bless. You only have you to blame. It's all about you. Her vocal is a little bit whispery in that. The music kind of overpowers it, which makes me feel like it's almost like a little voice in your head saying, talking to you, saying, do your thing, don't try to please everybody. You be you, or whatever. And that's such a cliche, but it's so true. I mean, and when you really figure that out, your life's a lot better. I used to be a little kid, trying to please everybody and try to be everything to everyone, and it doesn't work. And once I started just being myself, you figure out that people actually, even if they're not like you, they still at least respect you more than somebody that goes around trying to please everyone and pretend that they're into things they're not into just because they're around people who are in. I mean, people can see right through that bullshit. We have a lot of interludes on here. Some of them work, some of them don't. But at this point, that's her thing. I don't think she can kind of get away from it. It's her thing. Yeah, Go Deep, big, huge single. Whether you're, and some of these I've heard in a club, or, like Go Deep was on all the time. Somebody played that on the club jukebox, or somebody played on the dance floor as a throwback song, and everybody's loving that. I knew some of the singles from this, of course, like a lot of people, you know the singles, even if you're not exposed to the album at this time, because radio has it and clubs have them and whatever. But yeah, Going Deep, whatever that's about, whether it's about, you've met somebody and you're going to go deep with them tonight and be up all night, getting deep into each other's feelings and talking about deep subjects, or whether you're talking about getting way up in there sexually and, going way deep in there to the point where it starts to feel mushy. Well, when you go really deep, there's a different
fifth then.
You reached a
pervert.
I didn't have that in my notes.
That's what I've heard.
I bet.
We go deep. We get no sleep.
Yeah, well, because they're up talking all night about very deep subjects. Free Zone. Well, first, I don't want to do like a track by track because it's not going to make a lot of sense. But if I do it that way, but Together Again is that's another one. That's another big single that I used to hear all the time. And what a beautiful melody and beautiful song. But it sounds on this album, I always assumed that what I was hearing was some generic dance remix. And no, that's the album version with this really kind of generic dance track on it. And it kind of, I really wish it was more of a full song and they didn't have that. It kind of makes it sound like, I don't know, like a throwaway beat. There really should have been something better there. That's a great melody and a great song and means a lot to a lot of people. I just assumed that the album version didn't have that or was different. And that was just some generic dance version I was always hearing. But no, that's the album version. I think that would have worked better too as the swan song, as the last song on the album. It would have made such a big emotional ending. It sounds like an ending song. It's ending something, but it's in the middle of the album. Then you get What About? And that's where she's, that's where, this is, I guess it's, her continuing her journey of being in control and maturing as an audience or as an artist and talking about more kind of out there things or whatever. And she's definitely puts it out there on some of the songs on this. And What About is one of them. She's talking about domestic abuse. She's talking about being in an abusive relationship. She's saying things like, you said you didn't fuck her, she only gave you head. And I'm like, that Miss Jackson.
And really nasty now, huh?
And I'm assuming that's a real thing she's talking about there. Yeah. She's talking about real life. She's talking about her relationship. She was married at like age 16 or whatever to one of the DeBarge people. And yeah, she puts it all out there. But a lot of people will be drawn to that kind of a thing. And like, you used to slap me in the face. I'd say, please stop. And you wouldn't, you just whatever. And the lyrics about giving head and all that kind of stuff. But the one that really stuck out to me that I really loved was where she said, you said that no one else could love me like you. And I'm so glad she says that because I hate those songs. And there's so many of them where usually it's a guy singing and it's thought of as a great love song saying, no one's going to love you like me. No one else loves you. No one else cares about you. And it's like a great thing that he's saying that. The one that really comes to my mind right now is I Alone from the band Live that we used to have to play all the time on the radio. I alone love you. I alone love you. Horrible. Horrible band. Horrible. They only do horrible songs. But that one in particular, because what is, I guess the young folk would call it gaslighting, even though that's a reference to a movie from the 40s, where you're trying to make this person think that, no one loves them. And it's a good thing I'm around because I'm the only one that cares about you. No one's going to love you like me. No one else, blah, blah, blah. And I'm so glad that somebody actually singing about that for what it really is. It's kind of a bullshit thing to put on somebody. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be like that. I would be like, thank you for putting up with my nonsense. I'm lucky to have you. I understand that you could probably have all kinds of other people, but you chose me, and I'm so lucky for that. That would be more like the way that I would feel, not I alone love you. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, I'm really glad that she calls that out. That's the line that really stuck out to me. And speaking of the sequence of songs again, Every Time is right after that. And it's really jarring because you go from this like gut-wrenching What About song that's, like, damn. And then it goes into this like full-on middle of the road adult contemporary. Here's another single. I don't know if it's a single or not because I don't really know that song, but I can guarantee you it's a single because it sounds like Vanessa Redgrave or something. Not Vanessa Redgrave. What's her name? Vanessa Williams. And it just sounds like an adult contemporary home run hit every time. And it's really wild to have that right after What About. Unless it's planned that way, it's almost like, okay, she just said giving head and fucking a song. Everybody calm down. Okay, here's an adult contemporary song. Here's a hit. Here's a single. Shh. Everybody calm. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know, but it was really jarring. Empty, again, we have her and her delicate voice and her singing about being empty or whatever, and just this crazy production going all over the place. And that's kind of a theme to this album. It's a lot of, I think a lot of it is a little bit overproduced. There's a lot going on that I don't think needs to be going on. The big example of that, I mean, there's a song where it fits. That's what I was going to say. Free Zone is a song where all of that production and that all of these samples and all that, it works in that song because the vocals, the lyrics are so kind of free form. She just kind of sounds like she's riffing about boy meets boy, boy loses boy, boy gets cute boy back, girl get, nobody's sitting around writing that and thinking for days of those that sounds like a freestyle type thing. So it's great to have all the samples in there. And if you're going to use samples, you might as well use the best. She's got Stevie Wonder in there. She's got Lynn Collins, think about it. She's got Archie Bell on the drells, tighten up. If you don't know, that's what that's from. But yeah, so it works there, but it doesn't really work in songs like Empty. And what's the one? Is that the one where, that's the one where the guy is repeatedly counting to 4. Fucking I can't stand that shit. Stop it. She's singing about being empty. She's really pouring her heart out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. What? And a guy going, what? Why? And so that brings me to this song. Got Till It's Gone.
Oh no.
This is the absolute worst song on the album by far. There's not even a close second. It's the worst Janet Jackson song I think I've ever heard. It's like a genital wart. You've got this album is like a decent set of genitals. They're not crazy genitals. They're not genitals that are going to make somebody laugh. They're decent genitals. And this is a huge genital wart right on them. Awful song. Awfully produced. Terrible. Everything I hate in one song in 1997. So it's not even, you can't even say it's for the time. Well, everybody was doing that. It seems to me like she is moving. She is like so far ahead of her producers, Terry, Jam and Lewis at this point. They are stuck in like 1990 and she's moved on. She's not only 1997, she's pretty much 1999, 2000 by this point, and they're still back here in like 1989. You got the stupid record scratching. You got this half sample over and over of Joni Mitchell going, don't know what you got to, don't know what you got to, don't know what you got to. Is that becoming annoying yet? Because it is in that song. Over and over. They don't even do the whole line. It's like that stupid fucking whatever song that was that took Steve Winwood's Valerie and just did the Call on Me part over and over again. Horrible. God, I hated that song.
Horrible.
Cannot stand this Got Till It's Gone song. And that was the single I used to hear. And that's one of the reasons I never investigated the album further is because of that. Terrible. And it's got this guy on it going, what? It just sounds, I don't know, disrespectful or something. And whatever effect they put on her vocal, this whole like slapback reverb
doesn't
like
even
way
sound.
up. So sounds like this. It's just
Awful.
It's awful. It's like a fucking travesty. Why?
I don't know if I would say awful.
It's the worst Janet Jackson song I think I've ever heard, and it's definitely the worst song on this album. It is a genital wart on this album. It is awful. It ruins the whole. I mean, the whole experience for that part. I heard this album 4 times, and the first time I heard that song all the way through, and the second, third, and fourth time I just skipped over it.
It's the 3rd song on the record, right?
Yeah.
It's
like the 3rd full song. It was I think the first single, and
it is. It's
it's terrible. That is just everything I hate in one song, and like I said, somewhat outdated at this point. And she's so far ahead. I mean, anybody can come out with a remake of Rod Stewart's Tonight's the Night at this point and make it about a bisexual 3-way, and nobody would bat an eye. But this is 1997. She's doing this, so it's like, whoa, Which that was kind of odd. I didn't expect. I saw Tonight's the Night. That could be Neil Young has a
Do
song called
anything,
Tonight's the
right.
Night. It doesn't necessarily have to be Rod Stewart's, but then it comes on and it's like, oh, this is Rod Stewart's Tonight's the Night, and she's gonna want you to unleash that pretty French gown. Okay, now she's saying I love you, girl. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is just between me and you and you. But yeah, she wow. I mean, she really put it out there, and you have to respect that. And I am going to give it 4 rainbows, but with a huge asterisk, because you've got to skip over that "Got Till It's Gone" song, because that would bring it down to like 2. And it is a little bit overproduced in a lot of areas. Terry, she does work with other producers on future albums, and they get more and more involved, and Jam and Lewis get less and less involved. And it's probably because they sound a lot like they're in the past, and she's moving on. And the sequence is kind of strange, just the every time right after What About, and then Together Again being, I think that would work as a final song. But yeah, 4 rainbows.
Okay, here we go. Janet Jackson. I've never heard a Janet Jackson record ever in my entire life. Not even the black and white cover. Where would I ever hear a Jackson? Don't look at me like that, Craig.
Not even,
Yeah,
not Control, not Rhythm Nation, like.
No. I sat down and listened to a Janet Jackson. No, I've never ever.
Well, you don't sit down and listen.
No,
yeah. Get it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the first time.
This was a sit down and listen album.
So yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard a Janet Jackson. I listened to it 3 times. First of all, I've said this many, many times: never piss off a woman with a record contract, because she's angry at somebody in a lot of songs here, and she does get really dark and personal on a couple of songs, really. The interludes, I just learned, are her thing. If that's her thing, she needs to stop that, because those interludes absolutely ruin the flow of the record. I can't stand
it's too much sometimes.
Sometimes it's too much, but I mean, it started with Rhythm Nation and it's gone up almost to her most recent record. I don't know if there were any interludes on the last one.
Oh,
not on Control. I mean, there were a couple on Control, because Control had the "What Have You Done With Me" for me lately, where the 2 girls are talking.
Yeah, I wrote interludes suck. That title track that starts it off is absolutely horrible. I hated Velvet Rope. It was awful. Then the next song, I really liked. I put A+. I absolutely loved that song. And then the song that follows it up is Got Till It's Gone. Oh my God. Absolutely horrendous. I hated everything about it. I'm right there with you, Robert. It's just awful. I couldn't stand the vocals. I couldn't stand anything about it. There was absolutely nothing I liked about it. And then the next song, My Need, I really liked. Put an A+ next to it. And then I get to Go Deep, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a Janet Jackson song. You would think I could at least... Where's the single? Apparently it was Got Till It's Gone. I didn't know that until just...
Go Deep was a single as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still sitting there going, where's the hit? Where's the hit? Because I know her hits. I've heard all the hits.
I'll tell you every single.
Yeah. So Go Deep, I didn't really like all that much. But then the next song, Free Zone, I thought that was a really cool song. I thought it was different. I thought it stuck out from all the other shit on the album. Shit, I didn't mean to shit. It just stuck out.
Yes, you did.
You did.
It just really stuck out. I really enjoyed that song. And then the next song, Together Again. What I mean, now a song I know, and what great memories I have of that song. I came. When did this come out?
97.
97.
I came out of the closet in 95. That song was everywhere for years and years. You couldn't walk into a gay bar and not hear it. It brought back really good memories. It's a beautiful song. She sounds amazing on it. Just probably the high point of the album.
And the video is
then,
beautiful.
huh?
I said the video is amazing as well. She's sitting on an elephant.
Of course she is. She's
Of
Janet
course,
Jackson.
she's Janet fucking Jackson.
And then it's followed up by the song Empty, which I put a big meh next to. So we'll just go on to the next one, and it's a song called What About? I gave it an A+. I thought the groove was really cool. I really dug that song. I even put an asterisk next to it because I liked it so much. And then Every Time comes up. I loved the vocal on there. I thought the vocal was really cool, but the song was just eh. I just liked the way she sang it. Then it's followed up by Tonight's the Night, which is absolutely horrible. Her vocal on that is horrendous. I thought I thought she sounded terrible on that.
Oh.
And it's a terrible song to begin with.
No, it's
I Get Lonely. It was kind of the same old. It just kind of faded into the rest of the album. Rope Burn was kind of the same way. It was kind of meh, but it had really cool groove. I did like the groove to it. And then I really liked the closer, Anything. I thought that was a really cool song and an excellent closing to the album. Overall, is it my jam? Probably not. I probably won't listen to another Janet Jackson album. But I you can see why she was so freaking big. She was a star for so many years when when we were kind of I'm 20s. I was probably in my 20s, and she was a megastar, and I'm sure. I guarantee I would like some of her other albums better. The whole interlude thing really kind of just bothered me. It just broke up the flow of the album. I don't see why you need that stuff. But overall, it's I'm assuming she has better records. Is what I'm kind of assuming. I could be wrong.
But there are better records, but
yeah.
Maybe
I'll give it 3.5 rainbows. It's not my it's not my wheelhouse. Yeah. Craig's calculating.
Okay.
well, I'm writing down, but I'm having other thoughts in my head. So
He's gonna come after me.
Wow.
Well,
I ain't coming after nobody.
Craig, fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a bumpy night.
No, Jesus Lord.
Well, she says that in one of the interludes.
Yes. This was the first Janet Jackson album I'd ever heard as well, because I had absolutely
need to be revoked from you two.
I've never had any interest in listening to, her music. I've heard a few of her songs on the radio, and it was just like, hey, this not me. So when I first on my first listen to this song to this album, I will admit it was a chore to get through it. So I let it set for a couple of days, and then I went back and listened to it again. And then there were some songs that I started to hear and actually begin to enjoy. Thematically, I'm really behind what she was doing with this album. A lot of these songs are about people being marginalized by their sexuality, and I really like the way that she addressed that. Her execution at times, to me, and that may go back to what Robert was saying with some of the the dated production that was going on. But the execution it was chaotic at times. It just didn't seem to flow very well. Like Robert said, the sequencing between songs just seemed to be, off. It just like, so it took me multiple listens to pick out the ones, that I liked. Starting with the first song, Velvet Rope. The only reason I like that song is because of the violin interlude. That violin interlude in there is killer, and that makes the song. Without that violin interlude, the song is just, to me, kind of meh. But I get what she's talking about in terms of, the different ropes and how we segregate ourselves from each other. And she was using that metaphor of a club with all the different ropes that you have to go through to get to the different, the different parts. You I really liked that song. It's got such a funky groove, and I like the way the vocals, not the whispering part, but the other vocals. It was like a long distance telephone call, and she's communicating to you, to the person in the closet, and you need to get out. You need to step out of the closet, free yourself. And so I thought the way that song, it's a good song. I liked it, but I also liked the way it was put together. I thought that was, really, really clever. Yeah, got to a squad. Jesus, I fucking hated that
I
song
knew
too.
we were all gonna hate
But
that song.
I
knew it.
read somebody's comment about it, and I thought it was kind of interesting. They said that on one hand, you've got Janet Jackson lamenting over a lost lover, but then you've got Q-Tip singing, he's that person that she lost, and he ain't so sure he wants to reconnect again with her. So that was, kind of clever, but it's not clever enough to salvage that song because it's trash. My Need, I wrote meh. Go Deep, to me, was a bit reductive. The melody sounded very much like Madonna's Into the Groove. I just caught that, stood out with me on that. Free Zone, I really like that. Cool, funky disco jam. However, lyrically, it really doesn't say anything.
No.
I found this quote of hers in Rolling Stone. She said, on Free Zone, I'm singing about how homophobia or any form of intolerance injures the soul. I'm singing about accepting yourself and living in a free zone, where the world accepts you. Well, that's all great and good, Janet, but that's not what the song is talking about. I mean, I don't get any of that.
Well, I think it's 1997 and she's a pop star, though. So, I mean, even to say boy meets boy, boy gets cute.
Well, yeah, that part, yeah.
But daring enough. Just because
all
of the
this
time.
Extra theme that she was trying to throw in wasn't explicit enough to me, but it's a good song anyway. I do like that song. Together Again has got another groovy disco beat. It does strike me as a little bit reductive. Again, I kept thinking of Hedwig and the Angry Inch with Wicked Little Town, a little bit of that melody coming through. They were contemporaries. Hedwig came out about the same time. The chorus also in that song was familiar to me, and I kept racking my brain about where I heard it. But again, this is one of these songs that, despite these flaws, I guess, I started as one of my, better liked songs. Empty was just meh, but I do like the instrumentation. It's just a singing the lyrics. It's just that. What About? Yeah, that was a powerful song. Really, that's like, go Janet. This is what I expect from Janet Jackson, that song there. But then I kept thinking to myself, if this is what she's got saying to this guy, then why the hell is she walking with him hand in hand on the beach? But I overlooked that, and it's still a good song. But the follow-up every time, yeah, meh. Tonight's the Night, meh. I Get Lonely, meh.
He's gonna get Rainbow.
Yeah. Rope Burn. I wrote down, not quite the BDSM song you'd expect. It's
Miss Janet, if you're nasty.
But you see, I didn't think it was that nasty. I thought she was being a little understated. I think she was being too cautious.
It was 1997.
It's 1997, right? And she's a pop star.
That's true. I don't know.
You have to think about it in those times, and if you think about it as 1997, not 2024, she was being very risque with that,
and very open with the gay stuff too.
Yes,
I mean,
well, yeah, all of that. I mean, she was again read some interviews where she really didn't care what people thought.
No, she
if she was lesbian or bi or anything like that, and that goes back to the whole thematic concept of the album that I really appreciated. The song "Anything," meh. And then I guess I listened
like
to
that.
the last two tracks, "Special," and then the hidden track, "Can't Be Stopped." "Special" was a decent song, but I thought it was a bit cliched. But I really liked the hidden track, "Can't Be Stopped." It's got this funky groove. But again, there's all this other stuff I keep hearing. There's too much Bee Gees in the chorus. I kept hearing, it kept making me think of "Staying Alive." So, if you listen to it, it's got that little bit in that chorus, you almost start, singing "Staying Alive," at least, to me. But nonetheless, again, it was still a good song, and one of the better ones. So, yeah, overall, I really thought the album's too long. The interludes some of them are meaningful, but most of them are just meh. And I mean, there's a lot of meh with this album. But yeah, it's way too long.
It's the CD era.
And then it just meanders. It just like it's like, I don't know. It meanders. It doesn't seem to have focus.
So maybe,
and even, it's got a theme that is kind of going through there, but just the way the theme is managed musically seems to be a bit, I don't know, just a bit ad hoc at times. I'm going to give it, well, because of those songs that I do like, there's 6 songs that I do like. So I'll give it 3 rainbows.
Okay.
So maybe it's not the interludes that made me feel like it didn't flow well. I was blaming it on, maybe it's the sequence more than the interludes.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's a method to the madness when it comes to the sequencing, but I get that was never really an off thing for me. I just flowed for me. But
well, remember, this is the first Janet Jackson I ever heard.
Yeah, I'm a huge Janet Jackson fan. So I mean, I always talk about like I think it was either my 4th grade or 5th grade year in school, and that was my year of the divas, and that is when I I learned of Whitney Houston and Janet Jackson and Madonna and Sade and Tina Turner, and so that's my diva years for me. So I've loved this woman for a very long time. The reason I chose a Janet Jackson, first, I wanted us to be able to discuss Janet because she's Miss Jackson if you're nasty. I felt like maybe Control or Rhythm Nation, that might have been a little too safe. Janet, maybe more aesthetically, it's a better album. The previous album to this, and maybe you guys would have enjoyed that a tad bit more. There's more hits on that. But there are very dark moments in this record, and we see moments of Janet that we had not seen previously. And she's being more open. She's telling you things from her past. She's telling you things that we did not know that Janet Jackson, we did not know of the domestic violence. We did not know of the things that she had gone through. And she is opening herself up and to help herself heal and to help other people heal by what she went through. And her just championship for the LGBTQ people, there's a lot of letters now. Just how she has always just backed us. And one of the things, the song Together Again, and I'm maybe nobody really knew like the depths of that song. It is for the many friends that she lost through HIV and AIDS. We are going to be together again. That was her love song to her friends that she lost. And especially, in '97, that was a pretty big deal that she was doing this.
Yeah, that was like the peak of the deaths.
Exactly. And the fact that she did it basically as a gay disco, I mean, it's seriously that is what she's like. This is a song that needs to be played in the clubs, and you listen to that song, and you don't. That's not what you think of when you hear it. Is that the pain that caused her to write this song? "God Till It's Gone" is the first single. And I will say that the first time I heard it, I was like, we went from Control and we went to Rhythm Nation and then Janet. And then this is what I'm hearing the first time. I haven't heard a Janet Jackson new single since like '94. And you're giving me "Got Till It's Gone." I appreciate it differently than I did when I first heard it. Joni Mitchell actually did approve this, by the way. I'm just letting y'all know. She did approve this. She does get credit on it. And she was like, yeah, go ahead, Janet. I don't hate it like I used to. I did not appreciate it when it came out. I appreciate it differently now. I love the opening Velvet Rope because we do. Everybody wants to feel special. And so just get into my Velvet Rope. I'm going to make you feel, I'm Janet Jackson, if you're nasty. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. I'm going to make you feel special. Get on in here, bitch. The message of that, it's nobody's fucking fault but yours. Like, you cannot blame anybody for anything that's going wrong in your life. Like, it's you. But not exactly. So, single wise. So "God Till It's Gone," "Go Deep," "Every Time," "I Get Lonely," and "You." Those are the singles off the record, just in case y'all were wondering.
Oh, I didn't know "You" was a single.
That's "You" was?
"You" was a single. Yeah, the video is alive. I can tell you about pretty much every fucking video from this record. And again, what about what she opened up in that song? What she told us of her past, and that line, yeah, you didn't fuck her, she only gave you head. Yeah, sorry, bitch, you still fucked her. Yeah, whatever.
Well, even if she only gave him head, that's still head.
That's still, yeah. What? Oh, she only gave. Oh, so that means nothing happened. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Right.
I'm gonna.
Is this Jermaine Dupri that she's talking about in these songs?
It might be the husband after that.
No, Jermaine Dupri's the husband she has currently when she came out with that.
Oh yeah, no,
talking about
Jermaine,
the DeBarge guy.
Well, I don't think her and Jermaine are married anymore. No, the DeBarge, but there was is DeBarge the one that she was secretly married to for like 50 years? Not really 50. I'm exaggerating.
DeBarge was the one she married when she was like 16 or something like that.
And then there was another one that she was married to. Nobody knew she was married. I think both times.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember that Dupri guy. He was a piece of shit
I
too.
don't think they're married anymore, and he's like 3 feet tall. He's shorter than Janet, and she's short. But let's see. I've got just a few more things to say. I love the frickin' Rod Stewart "Tonight's the Night," but I love the original song. So maybe that's where we're different here. I love her version of that, and what I love is there is nothing changed about it. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, I'm going to undo your gown and
pretty French gown. That like I said, I didn't mind that song. I don't usually like covers.
And again, I love the original, but I love hers. Yeah. Hers is woo above.
Didn't Rod Stewart try to distance himself from that song?
What?
I read someplace where Rod Stewart was saying this is Janet Jackson's song. Mm-hmm. Like he was trying to distance himself from her cover.
No, I don't think that's what he meant by that. He probably people say that when people do covers, they usually mean that you've done it so well that
it's yours now.
Oh,
it's yours now.
That's exactly
sometimes you don't get that
interviews. The first time I heard her version of that last week, because I'd never heard it before. The first time I heard her version of it, I was in a sauna.
Oh. Oh.
So that'll be a memory I will keep for a while.
But I
That's
do
a
like
great way
that.
to hear be introduced to that song, by the way. I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Mhm.
like
Everything gonna be
110
all right.
degrees and I'm sweating and you know, it's just
Mhm.
you're literally in a sauna with the heat everywhere. And this comes on and I'm like,
Yeah, I love that how she does not change the gender. That is one of my biggest issues with cover songs when a man does a song that was originally done by a female or vice versa. It's like you don't need to change the gender. It doesn't mean that we're gonna think you're a gay. It doesn't mean
Right.
and this is a prime example.
I agree.
And Janet didn't fucking care.
You're
Go
right.
ahead, think I'm bi. Go ahead,
And
think I'm
Jackson,
lesbian.
too.
I don't care.
I was listening for it because I know the original so well. I was listening for her to say pretty French gown and change that to
Something
your
else.
necktie or
And
your
I think
silky
somewhere at
necktie
the
or
end,
something like that.
she goes back and forth. She does say, I love you, girl. And then there's a time she does say, I love you, boy. And so but that kind of puts that mystery in. It's like, ooh,
She's in a three-way.
Yeah.
Because she, at the very beginning of the song, she says, "This is just between me and you
And you.
you." I just thought she was in a three, which makes it even more
That's
out there. Just putting it out there. Wow.
And so my last thing to say is about Rope Burn. And I don't know, maybe in 97 this was beady, whatever you said earlier. That to me, this is one of the sexiest fucking songs. I love Rope Burn. And I don't know, maybe it's just because it's Janet telling me to tie her up. Not that I don't know, because maybe I would like to be tied up by Miss Jackson. If you're nasty, I would be okay with that. Yeah, that song is it's so just incredibly fucking sexy to me. I love the beat. I love her vocals on it. It's just so yeah, it's 4.5 rainbows for me.
Yeah, I
Rope
mean, I don't know what to say about these other two cats here. Because
I know, right?
one word that really I didn't say this when I was reviewing. I should have mentioned this, but one word that I kept. This album is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 12 love songs. It's not like she says in the thing, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, boy, oh my god, I'm in love, oh now I'm not, no now you're cheating. Now, this album is so like, I mean, you feel like you know her after you've listened to this. I mean, it's like Joni Mitchell's Blue, which I can almost guarantee you Craig still has not heard at this point. It's so like personal and so like
And you're correct.
I almost want to give it 4.5 stars. The more I hear you talking about it, the more I want to almost give this 4.5 stars, but I can't with that Got to Let's Gone song and the production, because
I get it.
I think I'm concentrating more on production and just the nonsense that goes on in some of these songs that doesn't need to be there. Jam and Lewis, man, they got to get it together. It's 1997. Come on.
Right.
But yeah, this album is just so interesting. I'm glad I finally got to hear this. I was expecting her to say things that were daring and whatever, because I'd heard that about, that about her albums. They get a little more daring and bold with each one. And then, she's exploring her sexuality. They were saying that in Control, when Control came out.
Yes.
But yeah, this is, I mean, I even thumbed up some of these songs so that they'll play whenever I'm just playing random songs.
Yeah,
these will be in the mix. Not Got Till It's Gone though. But
I'm sure you blackballed it.
Yes.
I mean, and the thing is, with like her catalog moving forward, there are moments where she does that, and then there's moments that it's just same,
Yeah, well, like I said, I think she has songs on here that are just like, giving head and fucking is great for personal whatever. And she's also very vulnerable in a lot of these songs. She's talking about self-loathing and, hating herself and all that. And that's great. But you know what? Got to get on the radio. So here's a song called Every Time. So it's got a little something for everyone. you know.
And,
If you just want to dance and whatever, you can do the go deep thing. If you want to just light rock it up and just have this pretty little song for the secretaries, that's every time. If you want to
pretty little song for the secretary,
right?
Yes, and also not a reissue. My 1997 UK pressing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, you don't know the pain and I did to get this record. So I won't tell you how much I paid for it.
So
all right,
Janet
so what?
Jackson.
I'm the clamped.
But no, this was a great album. That's what I was going to say. This was a great album for. You were talking about how you could have picked other albums. This was the album to review because this is other albums might have hits on them or whatever, but this is a better album to discuss. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, we've been going almost an hour. So,
yeah. What are you going to talk about? Control. Oh yeah. Here's all the hit singles, and yeah, she really broke away. And one thing too is that she really did for me. Especially right from Control. I mean, I know she had another album before that, but I don't know that album, and I don't think anybody cared. 2 albums, yeah, Dream Street and something else.
Not good.
Control is pretty much her first album, as far as it's similar to Pantera. They had albums before, you know, but most people consider that their first album. So Pantera, Janet Jackson, same thing. Yeah. So I mean, Control pretty much the debut. I don't remember what I was going to say now, but yeah, Janet Jackson.
Well, there it is.
I saw her live. She puts on a great show too.
What we listening to next, Mike?
Well, I was gonna do something actually that's very similar to Janet Jackson, which
really
you would be very surprised, but I'm not. I'm gonna do it.
You're surprising me differently.
Yeah, no, I was gonna do a current artist who reminds me a lot of Janet Jackson, and but I'm not gonna do that. We'll do something different.
Your mind.
Huh?
You changed your mind.
I changed my mind. I'll do that next time, so we don't have to listen to like the same kind of stuff. I'm doing Eels, Soul Jacker.
I don't know that one.
I
know Eels, but
yeah. This is my favorite Eels record. This is the one that turned me onto them.
I like the one with Goddamn Right. It's a Beautiful Day.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
That's what we'll be doing. There is an expanded version online, but you guys can figure that out.
We don't need no expanded version.
Yeah, there's only there's 12 songs, but a lot of them are real short. So it's a short album. You don't have to. So.
Yeah, they don't have all those interludes on there.
Definitely no interludes.
Well, that'll be new for me as well. I've never listened to Eels.
All right, so that is coming up. The Eel, or just Eels, not that Eels. Eels and Soul Jerker. We will be reviewing that in the future. We have all kinds of wonderful things coming up, and hopefully you will join us for those. We are the Vinyl Community. I'm Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora and Daisy.
And Mike at Hub Tunes.
Mr. Tunes, if you're nasty. Thank you so much for watching.
We appreciate it.
Bye, Daisy. See you later.
Yeah.